Hello, Valor and Lime. I just hopped out of the shower and thought this was a perfect time to try to do a Taco Tuesday until I realized that today is not Tuesday, it is Wednesday. So, nonetheless, here we are. And I am going to do a quick review and run through of the 3 ways that we use oils and some little tips and tricks that I have for each of those. So, the 3 ways that you use oils are aromatically, topically, and ingestingly? Internally. There we go. There's the Lee word. So I'm going to run through those real quick with you guys, show you how I use them, some tips and tricks for each of those, and just kind of cover some basics today that sometimes we just need a refresher on. So first things first, diffusers. This is one of their diffusers that Young Living has. It's a Young Living one. There's different. And I love this, and this is what I use in my bedroom, and it has different lights, it has different settings. Everyone's got a different kind of diffuser. I love the ones off Amazon as well. There's a group called Lemon & Co. that has like a knockoff Aria that we like. And I have some hit or miss with Target. Sometimes I love their diffusers, sometimes I don't really smell with them, so I would go off reviews before purchasing those. But they have some really cute ones. They definitely win for like cuteness. Okay, so when it comes to diffuser, a couple things. I have read and tried myself to put the oils in first instead of last. Put your oils in the bottom, and then it kind of settles in the bottom, and it tends to last longer. I don't know why. I'm sure there's some sort of science to it, but it just works better. Instead of putting the water in and then adding the oils, it's like the oils just sit on the top and then it diffuses quicker out of it, and then you just have like this beautiful vapor coming out, which is also fun and exciting, and adds moisture to your air. But the actual smell part of it, I feel like lasts longer when you're diffusing if you put the oils in the bottom first. You want to try to use filter water. I know there are times that I definitely use tap water. Some perks and issues with that is that when you use tap water, it's gonna not mess it up, it's gonna dirty it up a lot quicker, because there's a lot of additives in tap water, and so those things are gonna break down your diffuser. If you're constantly using tap water, then I feel like you're gonna break down the diffuser a lot quicker, and it's gonna get dirty a lot faster. And so if you are able to use filtered water, that's gonna be your better bet. I just keep, you can see probably over here, I just keep a bottle of filtered water, like a little jar, make it fun and fancy, at each of my diffusers so that it's ready to go at any time. So we just keep filtered water in that we filter for like drinking and stuff. And so using filtered water, adding the oils first, and then some just general cleaning. You can do a Q-tip with some alcohol and wipe the sensor. The sensor is I'm going to show you how dirty mine is. It needs to be cleaned. Well, it's got a little bit of water, so I can't. But the sensor is the little round part at the very bottom. I think you can see, yeah, right there. That's the sensor. So if you're having hiccups with it, if it's got some water left in it when it's turned on, then that is your cue that it needs to, so I need to clean mine. That's your cue that needs to be cleaned. So if it's not diffusing all of the water out of the bottom of it, then it needs to be cleaned. And if you just wipe out that center little sensor with a swab of alcohol and a Q-tip, you're going to be set. You're also going to want to do the inside part where the water filters through, because some gunk and stuff can get stuck up there as well after continued use, or especially like where mine's sitting under a shelf, dust falls down in it, dust falls down on it, and you can't help but get it dirty inside. So that's a couple quick tips and tricks on that, for cleaning it, for helping it last the longest, and for putting your oils in first. So diffusing, aromatically, love it. Topically, let's briefly talk about how to make a roller, okay? I love rollers from all different places. Amazon, Whimsy and Wellness is one of my favorite for super cute ones. I personally prefer, and I think a lot of other people do too, the metal roller balls. I feel like they go on a lot smoother and a lot easier than the glass. Depends on the company. Whimsy and Wellness has some pretty good, all of Whimsy and Wellness's are the glass roller bottles, and it does go on well. It must smell really good. It's a mix of lots of different things. The glass ones do work well, especially from companies like Whimsy and Wellness, but sometimes if you get glass ones like off Amazon, they just don't roll as well, or they don't roll at all, and it can be frustrating. So generally, I stick with the metal roller bottles. So you can get any size on Amazon, from This is a 2 ml, from a 2 ml to a 10 ml milliliters. The most common are 5 and 10, so that's the same that, or 5, is what Young Living has. So this is Young Living's. I also refill theirs. I love that theirs are metal tops. You can buy just the metal tops on Young Living's website. You can add it to any order, and I use those on old, they fit old roller or old oil bottles too, and reuse those into rollers. But to make a roller bottle, some like general things here is, personally, it's going to be one of those things that whatever your comfort level is for oils, you are going to add more or less. So if it's for a baby, I think they're going to recommend, with a 10 ml size, 1 to 2 drops of an oil dispersed through the entire thing. Personally, for me, as an adult and as someone who uses them often, I go with around 15 drops of oil in it. If it's going to be like a perfume or something that I want to really smell like a little bit stronger, I'm probably going to go more in the 20-25 round drops. And the remainder of that bottle is going to get filled with a carrier oil. And so there's a couple reasons why you would want to use a roller and want to use a carrier oil instead of just taking a bottle of like Valor and putting it straight on. One, oils like Valor and frankincense tend to be a little bit pricier, and you can make them last longer and go further if you dilute them and put them in a roller and use it as like your perfume or for whatever else you'd want to use it to, for. So it can help the oil to last longer. Using a carrier oil will also help keep it on your skin longer. And so if you are wanting to use something topically to help benefit, like with skin support or something of that nature, you probably want to add a carrier oil so it doesn't so it doesn't evaporate as quickly or go in as quickly. It stays on the skin and is kind of doing some work a little longer on the surface for you. And so that would be a reason you'd add a carrier oil. What carrier oils should you use? Wonderful question. My go-to is fractionated coconut oil. I use it for pretty much every single roller that I make. The exception would be for my face serum. I make like a face, instead of a moisturizer, I use jojoba oil. Jojoba is most closely resembling of your skin, like natural skin oils, and so it's really good for your face. Fractionated coconut oil tends to clog pores. It's not an issue for everyone, but across the board, from like dermatologists and different people that I've talked to in those professions, they just recommend not using fractionated coconut oil on your face. And so I go with jojoba oil on that. And avocado oil is also a good one to use, and that's one that generally people have in their kitchen ready to go. Fractionated coconut oil, pretty much you just want a carrier oil that will remain a liquid at all temperatures. So if you have coconut oil like in your kitchen that you cook with, you'll know that sometimes if it's like colder outside, it's going to be solid, but in the summer, it's like liquidy and soft. I can tell the temperature of my home based on the consistency of my coconut oil. So carrier oil. Another reason that you might want to use, well, we covered that. So carrier oil, using that with an oil, is to make an oil last longer and to make it stay on the surface a little bit longer. Sweet almond oil is another great one to use if you need that. And I get all of my carrier oils off Amazon. You want to make sure that you are getting an organic one so that there are not any other additives, chemicals, things added to that you're putting on your skin. Remember, the most when we are using pure, super pure essential oils like we have with Young Living, we don't want to adulterate that by adding in a crummy carrier oil that's gonna, sorry, that was my chicken alarm. So that is talking about using it topically. You can also obviously use the oils directly on your skin if need be. That would just be if there was a specific purpose that you would need to use something undiluted. Lavender is a gentle one that I tend to only, I just use kind of topically without diluting it, but there are going to be some oils that are going to be a little hotter, such as like an oregano oil, cypress, things that are like herbs, like rosemary, that are super intense or super strong, that you're going to be more likely wanting to add a carrier oil to. But if you look in the reference book that I gave you when you signed up, that's going to be one of those things that you can look, and it talks about the dilution process and that sort of thing. So we covered diffusing, some tips and tricks, the applying it topically, and then the last one that sometimes can be scary for people internally. So only with Young Living would I suggest using internally, and even then, only for a specific need. So these are vegetable capsules that I got from Young Living. I think they're like $3 for like 150 of them or something. You can also buy them on Amazon in different sizes. They're just plastic. When I get it wet, they start to dissolve and get sticky in my hand. So they're vegetable capsules, and so how you would go about this is they just come apart, boop, like that. And whatever your need or support would be for using that oil, you would drop, you maybe wanted to drop, let me give you an example. Seasonal support, peppermint, lemon, lavender, the jam, okay? All of those are considered a diet. They can be a dietary supplement. They can be taken internally. They are Vitality line. So I would do maybe 1 to 2 drops of each of those in here. The remainder I would fill with a dropper of olive oil. Any kind of oil, carrier oil that you would ingest or cook with, totally cool to put in that. And the reason for that is because these oils are so strong, it just creates like a barrier between your stomach lining and the oils that you're ingesting to kind of make sure that it doesn't irritate it in any way. Another couple oils that you might consider taking or ingesting would be oregano oil. For immune support, thieves oil for immune support. There's a lot of people that use like grapefruit, lemon, and peppermint for weight management. So it's a good one for that. So I just keep this jar in my medicine cabinet. This is what medicine cabinet has become for me in recent years, so that if I need to make a couple capsules, I do that. Sometimes I have like a little piece of wood that my husband drilled holes in, and I just open them all up and set them all in there and take the drops and go and make like 6 at a time or something, and then put them in a little bowl and set them on the counter, and they're normally fine. They don't, unless it's really humid in your house, or you don't set them in like the bathroom or the shower where there's going to be humidity where they might stick together. But if you just kind of leave them on the counter in your kitchen, they're probably going to be fine to just have out if you want to take 1 or 2 a day, or have several set up and ready for you. So, but like I said, I would only do that with Young Living because we trust their seed to seal process, that we know that the oil or the plant that's put into the good ground is then harvested at the correct time, that is then processed without chemicals, that is then bottled in a clean state, and then sent to you with this extraordinary above organic process that is safe to put inside your body. So, and even then, just because it can be taken internally doesn't mean that it needs to be. So there's not a lot of instances other than like extreme immune support that I tend to use ingest internally. So, but again, you can reference your manual for that you received, and that is taking ingesting. So you don't have to use a capsule either. You could also put like a lot of the citrus oils are fantastic for the Vitality line to put in water. So I add like grapefruit or lemon, things of that nature. Sometimes if I'm needing the skin support and I don't want to add it to a capsule, sometimes I'll just put like a drop of thieves on the back of my on my finger and stick it to the very back of my tongue. You have less taste buds back there, and so especially if I'm needing like some support in my throat, I'll put a drop of thieves on the back of my tongue, and that has clove in it, and it kind of numbs it. So that's a fantastic way of like ingesting wise. That would be really supportive of your throat area. And then let's see any other ways that I ingest it with little tips and tricks there. You can also add it to like baking, things like that. I tend to use lemon. If I'm out of lemon, I will add lemon oil to dressings, to muffins. I've added those a ton. There's cilantro oil. I don't know if you're aware of that. Cilantro oil and lime oil I tend to use sometimes with guacamole if I'm out of cilantro. Cilantro is one of those, it smells straight up like cilantro. Sometimes you get oils from Young Living that are an herb based, and they may not smell just like that, but cilantro is one of those. So I have one of those on hand, Vitality, especially for winter if I don't have cilantro. I'm really feeling some guacamole or need it in some Mexican. I use a Vitality line for that. Lemongrass, if I'm making Thai food, I'll add it to that or add it to the rice. There's a whole Vitality line, and in fact, if you're wanting to try different oils, Vitality line is a great way to start because those are the smaller 5 ml bottles, and you can try a bunch of those. I remember when I first joined Young Living, I went and got I think literally every citrus oil on my ER order first couple months to just try them. They were cheaper because they were smaller, and it was a good way for me to be able to try lots of different oils in that like $50 a roundabout amount. So that's my tips and tricks for the 3 ways that you use oils, aromatically, topically, and internally. And I hope that was helpful. One other way to use, I didn't talk about earlier when we were talking about rollers, if you don't use a roller, you can also make like little diffuser bombs. And these are found on Amazon as well. So if you have like what we talked about earlier, seasonal support for like lemon, lavender, and peppermint. If you've got those 3 and you're like really needing them in the spring, you're going through the house constantly dropping, okay, lemon, all right, then we get lavender, okay, then we get the peppermint. You can just take one of these bottles, put like 25 of lemon, 25 of lavender, 25 of peppermint, give it a shake, and then you've got this dropper bottle, and then just go to all the little diffusers in your house, drop that in, and you're not having to pull out all of those oils at the same time. So if you've got a specific blend that you super love for your diffuser, make a little bomb with this, a little diffuser bomb, and then you're set to go without having to pull out all of 3 or 4 or 5 of those bottles every time you want to make that blend. So that's my other little tip. Hope that was helpful for you guys, and I'll probably pop on here again the next couple of days and talk about specifically peppermint and using it for the summertime, but I just wanted to have a post-shower hangout with you guys tonight and cover some basic tips and tricks for the 3 ways that we mainly use our oils. So have any questions or things you want to talk about or share or ask below? Have at it. Have a great night, guys.